Hi everybody. Every time I come back, it's like after like a couple of months of not recording or a few weeks. Well, the last time I did a video was a few weeks ago, something. So yeah, before I start, I'll point out the obvious. Yes, I did change my hair color. If you saw like in the picture of the last video that I did, the thumbnail or whatever that I have for the whole video, I had like a purple streak underneath. And I decided to like dye my whole head of hair like one color, and I thought it was the same color that I always do, which it's the same color. I don't know why it looks like it's darker than my hair color normally is, but it's this close to my natural hair color, but this is actually a little darker than my natural hair color. My hair is more reddish, I guess you would say. In the other videos that you see, like where it's like that brownish reddish color, like my hair is closer to that color than this color. How's everybody doing? I hope that you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving, for those who celebrated it, and for those who didn't celebrate it, I hope you enjoyed your day off. All right. All right. As far as this channel goes, I kind of wanted to ask, oh my God, my cat just walked by and I hope that he doesn't knock down my tripod. I kind of wanted to ask if there's anything that people wanted me to talk about, because I feel like the things that I used to talk about, I kind of don't really have as much of an interest in anymore. And I think other people have an interest in that now, so they can take over. Like, look, I'm not here to be fucking ahead of any movement, okay? Like, I just do YouTube videos, all right? I'm not here to be like, fighting the power in the streets and, no thank you. I have a family, I have 2 children, and I'm not here to be the head of any movement. So if anybody else wants that, you can have it. It's all for you. Good, congratulations, good luck. But yeah, I don't really like I have ideas of what to talk about. And I figured like what I could have spoken about today was kind of like, it seems like there's a whole lot of, especially with this hip hop stuff, I guess, because people have been talking about this hip hop shit for like months. Then the whole topics of like the ADOS, FBA stuff kind of get like, they're kind of getting like brought into, there he goes. I wasn't lying when I said he bumped into my tripod. So this whole thing, like the ADOS, the FBA stuff kind of gets brought into the arguments with the whole hip hop thing, and that it's their creation. And then people are talking about these online movements being a certain way, that people have certain xenophobic views. And I kind of felt like I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. First and foremost, I don't know enough about any of these groups. I'm not going to sit here and say that I do. I know that they're acronyms that people came up with and people online have seemed to come up with. I personally take no offense to the names, because people can call themselves whatever they want to online. And I feel like as a Latin person, I feel like it's really none of my business. The same way that if us Latin people were to come together online and to call ourselves, I don't know, Hispano Latin, I don't know, universe or something. I'm just coming up with some bullshit, okay? Like, if we were to call ourselves something online, I don't think it's any other groups. It doesn't really matter if some other group comes in and says, hey, don't call yourself that, because then you're not supposed to be letting anybody on the outside telling you how to define yourself, right? So I could care less how people define themselves. When it comes to like the xenophobic stuff, I'm sure that people have xenophobic views on here, and I know that Tariq Nasheed guy, people say that he's xenophobic. I really don't know that much about Tariq Nasheed. I heard it's like a clip of like one of his streams, I guess, that are like really long, and it was him kind of going back with somebody who was foreign, back and forth. And honestly, it sounded to me like a lot of jokes, so I really didn't take offense to it. I actually thought it was very funny. I don't know enough about the guy. I've heard people complain about him. I remember on the block with Jen that she had went at him a while ago, and she gets like tons of credit for that, because like how many people have gone head to head with that guy? You know what I'm saying? So She was very ballsy in doing that. So I give her a lot of credit for that. But again, I don't know that much about the guy. I could care less. I could care less about people who are pro-black, pro anything. People should have the right to believe in whatever it is that they want to believe. When it comes to the rhetoric, the reason why I say that I don't care about it as much is because Latin people do the same exact thing. So if, we want to point the finger at these other groups and be like, they're xenophobic. Look, Latin people are just as xenophobic. Latin people are just as racist. They do the same exact things. All right. The same exact things. And if anything, and I've said this from the beginning of my channel, so this is consistent with my rhetoric from when I started my channel. One of the things I've always said, always, and the cat knows, because the cat, he was like with me in videos. He knows the truth. And you guys who have watched me for forever, you know the truth too. He and you guys know the truth. Just that he's cuter than all you people. Sorry, this is the cat. And I've always said that I've heard the most hateful comments coming from Latin people towards black people, right? And it's not to say that it's not the reverse, that the reverse doesn't happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my whole life, what I heard the worst from was from Latin people, okay? And if people want to act like that's not true, again, full of shit, stop it. Stop. All right? But I'm at the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh, these black Americans, they never ever say anything ever. Because there's times they say stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the worst that I've heard was from Latin people towards black American people. Okay? And then other things that I've spoken about on this channel, growing up in the environment that I did, was, the conflicts that we would have, that Latin people would have with black people sometimes. But for the most part, people got along, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, I wasn't going to be like painting the fucking hood with rose-colored glasses and making it seem like everything was all hunky-dory all the time. But at the same time, if I point out that our groups have problems with each other every once in a while, that shouldn't be a problem either, because that is a fact. It is a fact. All right? These things have always been a fact. I'm not going to sit here and be like, just one group is wrong and just the other group is right and all that. Like, get the hell out of here. Okay? The same thing when I used to speak about the colorism stuff, I'm going to say it again. And I'm not saying that there's no such thing of colorism in the black American community. All right? I'm not saying that. What I've always said, and I'm saying it again, is that I've always heard the colorism topic coming from foreign Latin people and just foreign people in general. Caribbeans, Africans, those are the people that I would hear that stuff about. When it would come to the colorism stuff, it was always those people. I'm not saying it doesn't happen with other groups. I'm not from the South, so I don't know how it is in in Florida, Louisiana, Texas. I don't know how that goes over there. Like, I have family that lives in Florida, but they're not from Florida. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense when I'm putting it in that context, right? So I don't know the depths within that community when it comes to the colorism topic. The thing that I've always heard from black American people was that if you're black, you're black. That's what I always heard, regardless of the shade, or like this whole stuff with the shade and everything. I feel like that's way more of a thing that I've heard since I've been online. Like, in person, I didn't hear that. I'm just telling you the God honest truth of my experiences, okay? I never heard it. But online, it is a whole nother freaking animal online. It is a whole lot of other things. And there's certain things, and I feel like I've said this before, that reflect things that I've experienced out in the world that I've also experienced online. And then there's some things that I've never experienced out in the world that I've experienced online. Hope I'm making sense. So there's certain... And I'm not going to be here trying to point out which group says what or which group, whatever. I'm not going to be pointing out Latin groups or whatever. But there are certain Latin groups that are associated with being more racist and this and that, just more blatantly disrespectful and racist or whatnot. And those things that I've experienced in person, I've also experienced those things online. Same thing. That's the same. When it comes to the colorism and all of that, and people kind of put it, I feel like I hear a lot of like Latin people, Caribbean people, whatever, they kind of put it on black Americans. And I'm like, that really wasn't my experience. From my experience, it was always the reverse. The first thing I ever heard about color was from another Latin person, not a Puerto Rican. You know, I'm just gonna be real. But that was the first person, you know, it was the first group that I heard it from, was another Latin person. All right, now when it came to like racism, like I heard of racism all the time from Latin people. You know what I mean? Towards Black Americans. But like the color, like amongst our own people, like that stuff, I really didn't hear that until I was like a little bit older, and it was from another Latin group. I hope I'm making sense, okay? It's not just, and I've said that, I feel like I say the same shit all the time. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as racist Puerto Ricans or none of that. I'm not saying that. And if you think that that's what I'm saying, then you obviously don't know me and shut the hell up. All right, get off my channel. So, yeah. And I'm talking about all of this. It feels like I'm making a recap of my channel. I feel like I'm making a recap. You know, in the beginning when I first made videos, I felt really strongly about certain things. And now I'm kind of just like, you know what I mean? I could take it or leave it. I feel like the things that did get me more heated and more angry, it wasn't even it's funny because I don't even feel like it was the colorism stuff that got me like that. I feel like the stuff that got me like that was when I was doing those numerous videos about the people getting killed by Latin people getting killed by the cops, and then when I was doing videos about like, you know, aggressions between Black and Latin people, stuff like that. Those type of videos would get me upset because I feel like those things are really what hits home in our communities. You know, the violence that we cause amongst each other, the violence that is inflicted upon us, stuff like that gets me more upset than the other stuff. I just kind of feel like when it comes to like when I talk about aggressions towards Latin people and stuff like that, that seems to be stuff that happens more with like the Latin and Black men in our communities. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like even though I was there, I can't say that I personally went through those things. You know what I mean? Like I went through more of like the, you know, the colorism or whatever you want to call it type stuff in my community than anything else in the Latin community. And it wasn't even to the extent of what I've seen with like, you know, getting into fist fights. I didn't go through any of that. It was never that bad for me. Okay. But that other stuff is bad, and that other stuff does hit home. You know, I've said it before, like, you know, my dad went through a lot growing up in the hood, and then, you know, with the cops and everything, you know, my dad went through a lot. And I feel like other family members, you know, from stories that I heard, they also went through a lot, like my uncles and stuff like that. So, you know, for reasons like that, I feel like there's a little more like I could get a little more heated because it's just because I feel like it's more serious. You know what I'm saying? And again, because I didn't experience the real serious things with colorism, I can't say that I have. You know, it was more like being told snarky comments and being like insulted about the way I look and start being too, you know, white looking or too white passing or whatever. Because the unknown rule in the hood is like you have to be like it's like a certain shade, and I'm whiter than that shade, and then a lot of people are darker than that shade. So if you don't fit in between that same brownish, caramelish, tannish color scheme, then you're kind of like on the outside. You know what I mean? You're either gonna have people that like you or people that don't like you, or people gonna rank on you or whatever. People rank on everybody in the neighborhood. And you know, usually for me it was, you know, there was mean stuff and then there was the jokes, and I'm fine with the jokes. I feel like I heard more of the jokes than the mean stuff, but some of the mean stuff was really cruel. But yeah, other than that, like, I know there's videos everywhere. I'm like 15 minutes of me fucking bullshitting about nothing and playing with my hair. Everybody's probably getting annoyed with it. You like my tree? The tree's been up. When did I put it up? Like a couple of days after Halloween. I always put my tree up early because you take it down early. All right, it feels like the minute you put it up, it comes right back down. Like I don't like to wait all the way till Christmas to put it up. Then I feel like I'm putting it up, and I feel like the next day I feel like I'm taking it down already. So I like to have it up for some time. We haven't decorated the outside, but we're supposed to be doing that this weekend, I hope. And I have the tree here now in the dining room, because in the living room, yeah, maybe one of these videos I'll show you. I don't feel like showing it today. But we got like a stove, a wood heating stove in the living room. So we can't have the tree there. So we have a little tree over there. So there's a tree over there. It's just a miniature tree. Miniature tree. That's about it. I have absolutely nothing else to say. So yeah, this is like, let me know if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, or if I should just like totally change this channel into something completely different. Cause I ain't on here to be no head of no fucking movement. I ain't on here to be like, I'm gonna risk my life for the Latin community. Like, get the hell out of here. You gotta be out your goddamn mind. You know, I love Latin people. My family's Latin. I'm Latin. But that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, I'm gonna go out there and fight the world for Latin people. Get the fuck out of here. No thanks. No thanks. I went through enough growing up in the environment that I did. Yeah. So that's it. I'm just rambling at this point. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm saying that again. I guess I'm gonna go for now. I guess I'll see you all in my next video. You take it easy, guys. Bye.